my name is Lawrence and this is a review for the book Chord Charisma by David Lovejoy. So, a confession to make before I get into this review. I have not finished the book, and there's a very specific reason why. I'm kind of exploring just what the first couple of chapters have unlocked in terms of my playing, and what I mean by that specifically is it's freed me up when it comes to what I feel my options are on the guitar and what I specifically would call like the chord hunt. Okay, so I believe David recommended to me specifically checking out chapter 18 on semitones, because I love a lot of kind of dissonant, Periphery, big Mark Holcomb fan, like these kind of big kind of slightly jarring chords, and I really love the chord hunt, trying to just fiddling around with finger positions, and I feel like the insights that the book has given me has really freed up options when it comes to that specific stuff. And I haven't even got to the chapter that Dave's recommended yet. I think I want to say there's 194 pages on the book's PDF. I believe I really got stuck in around kind of page 19. This is a book you're going to want to have a guitar on your lap whilst you're reading, and here's why. It's a book that gets you writing, okay? There's a lot of, at the end of each chapter, there'll be action steps around getting you to write 3 chord progressions based on what the previous chapter has given you insights on and what it's been talking about, whether tritone substitutions. There's a whole bunch of stuff. These are the ones that I've just recently read, so they're at the top of my mind. This is like a player's book, essentially. It's not something you're going to get through in a day, hence why I'm confessing at the start I have not finished it, because it gets you writing. The point of this is to kind of have the guitar in your lap as you're reading through it. It's getting you to try out, just some of the chordal diagrams in there, when I'm talking about it gives you options, I'm like, it would have never occurred to me to play a certain thing in this position and get that sound. And part of the chords I demoed there, just like, I love open strings in my chords, even though my favourite progression will be all new materials by Periphery. And I always felt fairly frustrated because I love these sounds, but didn't really know what was going on behind it. It's like, okay, well, I don't need to know the theory behind it in order to enjoy the song. But I feel like even just being able to harmonically analyse, like, okay, I see what you did there, type of thing. The book has started to free up that sense in me, because there are certain songs I love, like that one, some Beethoven stuff, like the one we all love, Moonlight Sonata, where I'm like, that's such a good progression and provokes such an emotion. Why is that? What specifically is going on in that progression that makes it? One of the first, it might even be the first chapter, the first thing that Dave talks about is the idea of tension and release. So we all know what the dominant 7 is, right? That was kind of, I don't want to be so harsh on myself to say that was my extent of knowledge on tension and release. And like Dave recommended, the semitone chapter to me on building tension as well. So I could fiddle around and go on the chord hunt and get my fingers in the right position until I go, okay, that sounds good. But I feel like it's given me options. That's my biggest takeaway from the book so far. And I said, like, again, I'm only on really digesting around page 19 of 194. And in terms of what I really like in terms of my own style of playing is I'll generally keep my fingers in the same position and just fiddle around and just finding bass lines. And something Dave talked about, you see, I'm slowly digesting it. It might be, was it tritone substitutions or secondary dominance or something like that, or basically going to the 5th of the note before hitting the target. Going to the 5th of the target note before you hit the target note. So if I want to go there, hitting that beforehand. So And again, that might not be massive for a lot of people, but immediately my brain went, go here before going there type of thing. And to have those small little optional insights come to me in these moments, like even though I can't remember exactly what position it was, but I was trying to fix a certain chord somewhere around here to create some tension as thing, and I was trying to figure out why is it just like jarring down here, and immediately my mind just went, it's that idiot here, move it up there. And I feel like my fretboard knowledge is opened up to not some, oh, suddenly I'm now aware of every huge thing on the fretboard, but in terms of what I'm doing with my chords, there's less time of, oh, what is it that's going wrong? I'm trying to, getting a bit frustrated. And again, I still love the chord hunt, but I'd like to have a bigger insight as to what's going on and why the thing is going on. And just from what I've read so far in the book, that's definitely happening. I feel like my fretboard knowledge and my knowledge of intervals and how the notes relate to each other, and not just how they relate to each other, but how the sound relationship works. Okay, so I'm not just talking about the one to the minor third or something like that, but like specifically how that relationship structures the rest of the chord as well, and even just Dave's insights on tonic chords, subdominance and dominance in terms of building a basic chord progression. I was like, I never really knew that. I mean, yes, all that stuff, get the idea of it, but didn't really realise what was going on in terms of less obvious progressions and then substituting chords in from there. I hope this is making some sense, but it's kind of blowing my mind slightly. And again, like, I want to take my time with this. I'm going to take my time finishing the book because I really want to digest this in order. I guess the main question is, like, do I recommend the book? And the answer is like a big resounding yes, under these specific reasons. And also I think like price wise, because at the time of this review it's £50, I believe, or it might be $49.99, but call it £50 for the book. Do I think it is worth it? Do I think you should purchase it? And I would say a resounding yes, under these specific reasons. If you're someone who is a guitar player that plays like anywhere or would like to play between about 2 to 5 times per week and wants to understand more about chords and not just write your own, but kind of have a deeper appreciation for the music you like, because it's allowed me to further enjoy chordal music that I love and melody as well. So again, like listening to Beethoven now, I'm a bit more like, again, not calling myself a music theory expert, but there's a certain sense of it's still magic, but I understand what is going on. It's a deeper level of emotion that I'm having with it. So what I would say is absolutely yes. Would I pay £50 for this book, having now known the insights that it's given me? Absolutely yes. Do I think it is worth £50? Yes. Is it something that you're going to be able to digest in a day? No, absolutely. And I don't think you would want to either. I think if you're anything like me, you might get just kind of taken into another world of writing, and even just like messing around with like super basic progressions that you would know and love. So this progression basically makes it pretty much into everything I write. The typical, like the 4, 5, 6 progression, and just kind of wow. I didn't say the things I wrote were good, just that they made it in there. And just like, just messing around with various different things within that, and feeling the ability to just like explore a bit more, and maybe go out of the comfort zone is the right word, I'm not particularly sure, but just like, I think expand the comfort zone, not necessarily go out of it. I mean, at first, yeah, these things aren't going to be, it's going to be a lot of finger fiddling and all, what was that shape, and need to refer back to the chord diagram and that type of thing. But I think as this becomes a bit more part of your playing, it's going to enhance whatever style you particularly have, and that's what I'm really enjoying. I feel like it's given me more freedom to write within the style that I write in. I still love the chord hunt and love fiddling around with the finger positions, and especially till I get an open string that really resonates really nicely, and I still love all that. But I feel like it's not necessarily only shortened that, because I don't necessarily want it to get shorter. I really enjoy that feeling of, oh, I wonder what would be the right thing here, and then when you find it, it's like, oh yeah, that's going to be the one. it's given me more options within that to say, oh, okay, well, that's not the thing that's working, so how about if I change that note to this one here? That's been my biggest takeaway so far, and I can't wait to finish the rest of the book, or basically just to move on to the next chapter. And I'm really going to take my time with digesting the various different things that Dave has talked about in this book, because I want this to become more of a part of my playing, and very aware it's going to take me a long time to get through this thing. And I don't necessarily mind, because I'm having quite a blast just kind of sitting here on one chapter for, you know, kind of hours last night and just messing around and thinking, wow, okay, well, not just playing it over here anymore, there's like, you know, different voicings I can use, and these voicings give me finger positions that I wouldn't necessarily be able to do on the lower strings or the lower positions down here, and I can fiddle around a bit more, and okay, there's more access, and it's like, it gives you options. That's what I would say. Do I recommend the book? Absolutely yes. If you haven't already, download the first couple of chapters, because there's some insights there just on like basic progressions that are going to be hugely insightful. Do I recommend you get the whole thing? Absolutely yes. Read it with a guitar on your lap, get playing, enjoy it. That's all I'll say. Thank you very much, Dave.